Let me ask you a couple of crazy questions. What does an American look like? What does an American sound like? Your answers to these questions have a lot to do with where you've been raised, the kind of people you've been around. Did you know that in some places in the United States, everybody's white? And in other places, everybody's reddish? And in other places, everybody's black? And in some places, the people speak with accents that sound like they're from other countries, but they're not. They're from here. And so were their parents, and so were their grandparents. And some people would say they look un-American and they sound un-American. You know, they don't sound right, they don't look right, they don't seem like they should be here. What do you think an American should sound or look like? Does it bother you when people are really different from you? Did you know that a lot of people in the United States who have lived here all their lives speak as though Spanish were their first language, and yet they can't speak Spanish? English is their language. I was sitting in a hotel computer room and I was listening to a brown-skinned woman on the phone talking with an accent and that I couldn't figure out. And when she got done, she turned around and I said, "Where are you from?" And she said, "Hawaii." I said, "Oh, you must speak a Hawaiian language." She said, "No, I don't." I said, "Well, maybe you speak Pidgin English." She says, "No, I don't." I said, "Well, you've got an accent. Where are your parents from?" She says, "Well, they're Filipinos. They were in the U.S. Armed Forces." She says, "My father was an officer," and she says, "My parents are citizens of the U.S." I said, "Well, what's going on here?" She said, "Well, when I was a kid, I hung around a lot with my grandma, and she was Filipina, and she did speak a Filipino language." So I think that plus some Hawaiian accents have carried into this younger woman's life. Then there are the U.S. citizens who carry a heavy accent from their countries of origin, that is, from the countries where they were born and raised. Today I introduce you to just such an American. After 30 or more years here, he knows English better than the other languages because he doesn't use them as much. I'm introducing him to you because he's exactly like so many Hispanic immigrants who don't sound or look like many citizens think an American should sound or look like. I'm also introducing him to you because I want you to consider learning other languages. Dr. K.D. Nasser. You may wonder what those initials K.D. stand for. I did too. So I asked him and he said, "Well, usually people in this country don't say my name right. So he says, I just tell them K.D. And so I introduced to you Dr. K.D. Nasser, who, until kind of recently, was a math teacher in the Indiana State prison system.
जाने किस जहां में खो जान और लाख गम घुट के रह गए न दम एक जान और लाख गम घुट के रह गए न दम आओ तुमको देख ले डूबती नजरों से हम लूट कर मेरा जहां तुम कहाँ तुम कहाँ तुम कहाँ तुम न जाने किस जहां में खो गए तुम न जाने किस जहां में खो गए. I was born and I grew up in Pakistan, West Pakistan at that time.
The interview that you're seeing here took place actually several years ago.
I migrated to the U.S. in 1973, and then I became a citizen, so I'm an American now.
Why did you come to the U.S.?
Well, I came to the U.S. for many reasons. Number one, my reason was that I was praying for a place where perhaps my children would have a little better future. They'll have freedom to worship God the way they would want to, and also would have an opportunity. I was teaching in a college, so I did fine. I don't have any ill feeling towards Pakistan. I love those people. I still have a part of my family living there. But I made a decision to come to America for a better future of my children. But I became a citizen in 1981, I believe.
Because it takes time, right?
Yes, but I wasn't sure if I was on a permanent resident visa. So it was a permanent. I was on a permanent status. So that means I could live as long as I wanted to.
Okay, you had permanent status here.
At that time. But then when I became citizen, naturalized citizen, then I'm no more on a permanent status. Now I'm a citizen,
So you were going to remind us about our history.
Yeah, I was going to remind you that you asked me this question, how many immigrants can fit into this country. Well, America is a land of immigrants because America does offer good opportunity. America has opened its borders to almost the whole mankind. So this is like a united nation. We are diverse in culture, diverse in religion, but this is still one nation under God, as we call it, and as our dollar bills still call it. And whether some people believe in God, that's their problem. There's nothing I can say.
What did I just ask you?
How does it feel like coming over here?
But
you mean I need to remind you what you are asking? I don't mind, sir.
Okay.
I was 32 years old when I came here. So I spent half of my life in Pakistan, and almost the other half I have spent in this blessed land of the United States of America.